Well, good morning and happy Tuesday. I am wearing a t-shirt. Don't usually wear t-shirts, and this isn't exactly the color that I would choose. But as you see, it says hashtag for Waukegan, and this is from a prayer gathering, sort of rally that Sherry and I were at last night. So I'm filming this on Monday. This was Sunday night. It was convened by the police in Waukegan, and they invited pastors, many of whom you know, churches that we're privileged to have an opportunity to work alongside. Sign of the Dove, Journey Church, Glacia, Emmanuel, Waukegan Community Church, and others. And the pastors from there, and a number of musicians, including a number of people that you know because they sing at Christ Church. Shelby Obleton and Gloria and Drew and Eric Rivera, who's of course one of the leaders with Rev 79. Lots of people were there, and it was a great time. And I just want you to be encouraged as we start this Tuesday morning. There's a prayer gathering called by the police, inviting pastors, and a couple hundred people show out to spend an hour praying for God to guide and bless us. And there's obviously so many ways that we can grow as people and grow together and move through this very difficult season. It's a long journey, but I'm encouraged. I want you to be. So I'm wearing my shirt. And I also have, I could put on my For Waukegan face mask as well. But I want you to be encouraged. I also don't want you to be anxious. And that goes to the passage that we're in. We're on a few days study of anxiety. In Philippians 4:6, Paul says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God." This is a passage I memorized very early. And I remember there have been seasons in which I have just clung to it and been praying it. It seems like 10 times a minute. And as soon as I finish praying it, I'm either complaining. I couldn't ever completely figure out if I was confessing, "Lord, I know I'm not supposed to be anxious, but I am. I'm doing something wrong." Or if I was frustrated, "Lord, I'm not supposed to be anxious, and I'm praying, and I'm still anxious. Like, I need you to come through here." But this is a key passage, and we started looking at anxiety, and I gave you some background information, and then I honed in on one particular point, and that was that we need to have a faith, a life-saving relationship with Christ. I'm going to make 2 points today in the time I have left. First, one of the ways to solve for anxiety is to have friends. Now, this doesn't get called up in this verse, but it gets called up in the context. Paul's writing. This is a very personal letter that he's writing. And most cultures give friendship at levels that, those of us that live in the West, especially America, with our rugged individualism, don't get. And so we need to be coached. And things that other cultures just assume. Friends multiply the joy and the good times, and they divide the pain in half during the difficult times. We need each other. Christianity is not a solo sport. So one of the ways to cope with anxiety is with good friends. A second thing that we need, and this does get called out in this passage, is that we need to rejoice in the Lord. And that means today. Joy is a discipline. It's not a product of circumstances. So if you're still thinking, "I'll be happy when," and then you name something. I graduate from law school, or I get married, or we have kids, or the kids finally leave, or I make X thousand dollars a year, or I make 10X thousand dollars a year, or I become vice president. Whatever it is, I'll be happy when these things happen. It doesn't work that way. Joy happens. I don't want to dismiss circumstances. I don't want to be cavalier in that way, but I do want to say, the passage doesn't say rejoice in the Lord when things go right. It says rejoice in the Lord. And so I want to encourage you. This is an antidote for anxiety. More to say. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Have a good day.